Hey everybody, welcome to Life on Turkey Lane. I hope you're doing really good tonight. First, before we get started on everything, I would really love to give a warm welcome to all of my new subscribers and welcome back my old subscribers and just let you know how much I do appreciate you. And I'm so thankful that you've joined the Life on Turkey Lane family. I hope you'll continue to come back and watch my videos. I know there's other things that you can do with your time and many other channels that probably have a little bit better that are more entertaining than mine. But I'm thankful you're here and I welcome you. And so thank you guys. I really do appreciate you. So tonight I am going to make a really easy, simple bone broth. If you've ever read up on bone broth or heard anything about it, you know that it has lots and lots of good things for your bones and your body and your health. And it's really easy to make. Now you can buy certain bone broths in the store, and you really do have to be careful of the ones that you buy because there are some ingredients added that are preservatives and other kinds of starches and things that, especially if you're keto or diabetic, you really don't want. So it's real simple and easy to make your own bone broth, and that way you know what ingredients are in it and you know it's a lot healthier choice for you. So tonight let's get started, and I'm going to show you what I have. We're going to make chicken bone broth. It's probably the easier to do and the most accessible to you. So let me get you aimed down here. See if we can get you zoomed into what we're doing. So here are my ingredients. Let's see. I don't know. Let me change the camera angle and see if I can get you guys where you can see a little bit better. Okay. So anyway, as I've said before, my kitchen is kind of small and it doesn't lend to filming very easy at all, but we'll get it done. So anyway, so I have a number of ingredients here, and you can use as many of these things or as little of these things as you want. And so first I'm going to start out with using my crock pot. This is a perfect way to make your bone broth where it simmers low and slow for several hours to get all that goodness out of those bones. And I've got a bag with some chicken carcasses in it. Whenever I roast chicken or even buy rotisserie chicken from the store, I go ahead and I save the bones and I use them for my bone broth. Now you might say some of the chickens that you buy from the store may not be organic, they may not be cage free and pasture raised and all of that thing. And that most of the time that's probably true. I do try to buy the best meats that I can, but even the rotisserie chicken bone broth will still have some benefits for you. So so save all your bones. And I just whenever I get a chicken bone or whatever, I go ahead and throw it in a bag and throw it in the freezer. And so tonight I'm gonna just empty this bag into my crock pot. And then I'll just throw this bag right back in the freezer, and next time I have chicken bones, I'll just toss it in there. That way it saves bags, and you don't have to, spend money on something that you're just going to throw away. You can reuse that. Okay, and to my bones, I'm just going to add some, probably about a teaspoon of onion powder. Just sprinkle that in there. About a teaspoon of garlic powder. Maybe a little less, not a full teaspoon, because I am going to be adding onion and garlic as well, whole onion and garlic. And I'm going to go ahead and throw a little bit of turmeric in mine today. Turmeric is good for inflammation. This is an organic turmeric, so it should be a pretty good one. And I would say I got about a half a teaspoon there. Now that might add a little bit brighter or oranger color to the broth, but it's not going to hurt it in any way. And then I'm going to go ahead and add some salt. And I use Redmond's Real Salt. It has 60 some odd trace minerals. It's mined right here from an ancient seabed in Utah and in the United States. And it's not chemically processed or anything like that, so it's really good. And I'm going to go ahead and add, I don't want a ton of salt because I don't want my broth to be too salty, but I'm going to go ahead and add about a half teaspoon of salt. And you can add more later if you, want a little bit more whenever you're using your broth. Or I like to use this to sip on, whenever I'm doing a fast. When I'm fasting here and there, I'll sip. Now I've got some pieces and parts that I cut off the tops of my celery, and so whenever you, like, say you buy a head of celery, not, it's celery, not celery. Whenever you buy celery at the store, or if you get it out of a garden or whatever, go ahead and save the tops and just throw it in for your broths like this. It's a perfect use for them, and you're not throwing them away, unless you're giving them to your chickens or something, and then, then you're not throwing them away that way either. So I had those celery parts, and now I've got a partial onion, and I'm not even really going to chop it up much. I'm just going to go ahead and pretty much just throw it in there. Okay, because this broth will be strained later. And now I have my homegrown parsley that I dehydrated from last year, and I just got this little bit left, so I'm going to throw some of that in there, and I'm going to go ahead and crush it up. And you can use quite a bit of this because it's going to be strained off, and then you will get the flavor benefits and the other benefits from the parsley. And now I have, I bought this at Sam's Club, and it's a giant bag, so I keep it in the freezer. Now, if you're going to use this for fresh cooking, once they thaw out, they will be kind of, not necessarily mushy, but they won't be the same as fresh. But for this purpose, they work just fine, and I'm going to throw 2 cloves in there. Okay, now I'm going to fill my pot up with water. Let me get a container here to do that. Okay, so I have filled my crock pot up with all the water, the chicken bones, and the seasonings. And also, when I saved my chicken bones, any of that like jelly looking stuff that you get in the bottom of your pan when you roast a chicken, or even a rotisserie chicken, that is collagen. And so I save that too, and I put it in my bag with my bones, and I freeze it all together. So this has the added collagen, which is super good for you. It's good for your joints, it's good for your muscles, it's good for your bones, it's good for your hair, it's good for your fingernails. It's really good. So save that too and put it in here. And so now I'm just going to put my lid on my pot here, and I'm going to cook it on low for about 24 hours. I know that seems like a long time, and you're thinking, wow, I don't have that much time. But you know what? When you put it in the crock pot, you plug it in, you turn it on, and it took less than 5 minutes to do this here. And then in 24 hours, you just strain it out, and you're good to go. So it's really not hard. It may be a little time consuming as far as the crock pot goes, but as far as your time goes, you go on about your business, and then you come back in 24 hours, and it's good to go. So I'm going to turn this on and get started, and then when it's done, I'm going to come back, okay? See you in a bit. Okay, so it's been about 24 hours since I started the bone broth, and I've turned the crock pot off and I'm letting it cool down. It's been cooling down for a little while now, and so yeah, we're going to take a look at it and get it out of the pot, and I'll even do a taste test for you. I plan on having it for supper tonight. And I'm doing a little bit of what they call intermittent fasting, where I eat at a certain part of the day, but then I fast for several number of hours. But I can have a little bit of this bone broth tonight for supper. So anyway, let's take a look, and it's looking really good. Let's take a look, and then we'll get it out and do a taste test. It's nice and rich, and as you can see, it had the chicken had a little bit of meat left on it, but as you can see, the bones have broken down quite a bit, and that's what you want when you're making bone broth. You want all of those bones to break down, because the inner side part of those bones because the inner part of those bones is what has a lot of your nutritional value. So yeah, I make this bone broth quite often. This is what they consider a small batch. I'm not going to can it. Now, you can make a large batch, say if you get several chicken carcasses, I hate to use that word, but several of those, and they've been frozen and you have them in a bag. You can get like a big roaster pan and do this overnight or a couple days in a roaster pan, and can up a batch of broth to put on your shelf for the next time you want to cook, or if you're like me and you want to do an intermittent fast and you want some broth to go along with your fast, because you can have liquids, you know, on your fast as long as they're not of high caloric value. So there. So anyway, yeah, so I'm going to show you how I strain it out, and then we will, so let me aim you down here. Okay, now I've just got kind of a large plastic container, and I'm going to take, let me get my little spider thing here. Okay, so I've got my spider, and I'm going to take the larger pieces out of here, all the larger pieces I can get. And of course now our dog is going to get a lot of this. It's not waste. She can eat quite a bit of it. These bones are broken down, and there's plenty of meat on here. Okay, and so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and measuring cup down in the broth. And I'm going to take my, well, I'm going to take my thing here. I'm going to take this and I'm going to hold it over my crock pot, and I'm going to pour the broth back in and get the rest of the stuff out of here. Put that in my bowl with my scraps. And so now this process is just getting all the little extra bits of my herbs and spices and the little chicken bones and any kind of bits that will be left in my broth. It is just kind of straining them out. Let me get a spoon here and empty this. But yeah, you can see all that it's catching there. As you can see, we still had a good bit of celery left in there. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get my jars. And I think 3 jars should be enough for this. And so I'm going to go ahead and get me a good full cup of this. And while I'm putting it in my jar, I'm going to go ahead and put my strainer over the jar just like this, and let's hope we don't make a mess. Okay, and I'm going to do that until my jar is full. Okay, so let me get a washcloth and we'll wash that jar off. And I'll put the lid back on. And now this is going to have some fat on it. You can see at the top there's a little level of fat there, and that's okay. I can have the fat in my diet, and if you can't, that can be strained off. Once this cools down, you can take that off of there, or you can use like a fat separator. But I'm not going to do that. So I'm just going to continue to fill my jars up. And then I will be ready to give this a taste test here real soon. Trying to be careful not to make a mess. I can't find my funnel. If I had a funnel, that would make it so much easier. Less messy. Okay, and okay, I'm going to wipe that off and get that ready to go in the fridge. And then what is left in my pan here, I'm going to strain off, and that will be my supper. So let me get that strained off, and then I'm going to come back and we'll have a little bit of taste test. Of course, I'm sure you know what chicken broth tastes like, but this is a very rich, very, very rich, very tasty broth. So I'll be back in just a second. Okay guys, so here we go. I've got me a nice cup of broth. You can take a look at it. The only thing really left in there is a little bit of like the parsley flakes, you know, that slipped through the colander. But this is a nice clean broth. It's a good broth. And so let's taste it. Yeah, a nice rich flavor, a hearty flavor. I didn't add too much salt. You can add more salt if you want it saltier. I think I kind of like mine like this. I might add just a sprinkle. But other than that, this is awesome sauce. And so I'm going to have this little cup of broth as my dinner tonight. I'm going to enjoy it a lot. And before I go, guys, I want to give you just a little bit of update on all the herbs that are growing. If you've watched the videos, you know that just a few weeks ago, a little more, I think it's been about 23 days now, that I planted the herb seeds. And I think you're going to be surprised at how big they are. If you remember, several of those packages said that it would probably take anywhere from 7 to 21 days for germination. And yeah, well, you know, if you saw the update like a week or so ago, that not only did they germinate, but we've already had to repot some of them, and they're getting big. And the lettuce was just planted about 16 days ago, and I know you're going to be surprised about it. So let me get you turned around here, and you'll get to see a little update of the herbs. Okay, so there is our lettuce. Guys, look at that. My pot is overflowing, and I'm sorry the light is purple, so it's showing purple in there, and you can't see real well. But I've had to raise the light up and put the bottle of water on a stack of books. And yeah, I've got a pot of lettuce that is actually ready for me to start cutting some of it and having a salad. And then if you can see behind it, there is our dill. It's huge. It's getting huge. And I've had to raise this grow light system up. That's not actually a grow light. That, if you remember, that's an LED light. Back here is the cilantro. And look at that. I've got a whole pot of cilantro. The thyme is doing really well back there. And the basil is growing like gangbusters. And good news is we have a few of the parsley seeds that have germinated. So yeah, everything is doing well. And then I do want to show you another update. I planted some more seed out in the garage, and I'm going to take you out there, but don't think bad poorly of me, because the garage is a disaster. We did a large project last year, which I have not shown you, but we did a large project last year, and the residual mess of it is in the garage here. Okay, so a little more than a week ago, I planted a whole bunch of different kinds of tomato seeds. I've got a couple different kinds of cherry tomato, and then I have a brandywine, a pineapple tomato, and a black creme tomato. I have never tried either of those, and so we've got germination on every single one of the seeds that I planted. Then I've also planted more cilantro in these cups right here. And none of those have, that I can tell, have germinated yet. But that was just a few days ago. And then I've got a whole tray of oregano here that looks like the majority of it has germinated. And I've got an assortment of peppers right in this tray here, and a couple down here. And then as far as my rosemary goes, it looks like so far I've just got the one right there that has germinated. But yeah, this is all doing great too. And just to let you know, let's go back this way. Oh, you know what? Let me let Sissy out. She's wanting to go outside real quick. And like I said, don't look at the garage. It is a disaster. Oh, and it's raining. She's not going to like it out there at all. She's going to want to claw her way in here in a minute now. So yeah, I mean, we're planning some things, and I'm so excited. Now, my back deck out here is going to be packed full of plants. I'm afraid, because I'm planning on planting the tomatoes and peppers. Hopefully we get good germination. I do have a key lime, a small key lime tree, and a pink lemon tree that I bought last year that will be out there. They're inside the house now for the winter time. But so I think the deck's going to be pretty full. I may even try to see if I can talk my husband into. We have 2 raised beds outside when we started a garden a couple years back, right before I hurt my back, and so we never got that garden finished. But there's 2 beds that can be planted out there, and so I'm going to have him take some of the tomatoes and probably peppers out there. I'm going to plant those. And maybe later on this year we might get a few of the other garden beds put up. He kind of don't want me to be traveling down to the backyard doing any of that stuff because he doesn't want me to hurt my back again. But we may see what we can talk him into. And so today, I think it was today, it may have been yesterday, I ordered some seeds from rareseeds.com from Baker's Creek, and just 1 packet. My husband said you should have ordered a whole bunch, but just 1 packet. I know you've probably seen the miniature cucumbers in the store. They put several of them in a little bag, and they're just like little snack size cucumbers, and I love them. You know, they're just the perfect size for me to have a snack, and they're pretty much seedless. They don't upset my tummy and anything like that. And so I ordered a packet of seeds from, like I said, rareseeds.com to grow those. So I'm excited about that. I can't wait to get them in and get something set up to start those. So stay tuned for that. And anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video tonight. I hope that you'll try making your own bone broth. Bone broth in the store is expensive, especially if you want to get something like, you know, the good stuff that doesn't have a lot of preservatives and a lot of additional things that you really shouldn't be having. And making your own bone broth is so easy, and you control what you put in it. It's good for your body. It's got collagen and vitamins and minerals, and is really tasty. So it's way better than anything you can buy in the store. Recently I bought one that the taste was so bad I sipped on it I just took a couple sips and I'm like, yeah, I don't think I can handle this. And so I end up having to throw nearly a whole quart of some bone broth away. So make your own. It's easy, quick and easy. I know that you guys, even if you use rotisserie chickens from Walmart or wherever, you're going to get the bones from someplace. And if you want to make beef broth, check with some of your local farmers or your butchers and see if they can sell you some bones. I have not bought any beef bones around here. I've checked with a couple people, and the prices were outrageous for bones, and so I haven't bought any. I would love to get some, though. But anyway, do yourself a favor, do your body a favor, save some money, and get some nutrition, some good nutrition. This bone broth doesn't even have to be used like me. I'm drinking it as a supplement to my diet, you know, during this fasting period. But you can use it in all sorts of recipes. You can make chicken and dumplings with it. You can, which I love. I love chicken and dumplings, though I don't eat the dumplings anymore. But chicken pot pie and just all sorts of things. So do yourself a favor and make some of this. I'm so glad you joined me tonight here at Life on Turkey Lane, guys, and I hope you'll come back and see me. Take care.